following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Hello, and welcome to the Box Score Breakdown Show, brought to you by Hoop Ball. My name is Adrian Benjamins, and I'm joined by Neil Rochlani. Neil, how are you?
I'm doing well. Adrian, how are you? How was your weekend? How are your fantasy teams? How are your thoughts about Jimmy Butler going to Philadelphia? We got a lot to talk about tonight. A lot of games, a lot of news.
Yes. We got a ton of stuff to dive into. We got a decent slate of games tonight. It is Sunday night. We're recording the show for Monday. You guys, we are rolling into week 5 of a 25-week season. For you head-to-head players, playoffs, it cuts the season even shorter. So, we're hitting that 20% mark. Neil, we got like 80% of the season to go. So, man, we got a lot to talk about. I think we got to start with this Jimmy Butler trade. What do you think, Neil?
Yeah, I think it's the biggest news of the weekend. Probably more important than a box score analysis of Charlotte-Detroit. Well, as someone who owns Karl Anthony Towns, I'm very happy this happened. I drafted him on the expectation that Butler would not even be there at the beginning of the season, which obviously did not occur. I also recently acquired Jeff Teague, who I think is going to benefit if he ever plays again. I know he's supposed to be back soon, according to the reports I've seen. So I think it helps those guys getting back Saric and they're getting Covington, which I think is a great needed help for them. I don't know if Saric will hop in the starting lineup over Gibson, but I imagine Covington will be there as one of the wings alongside Wiggins. And I have no idea about the fantasy implications yet. I think Covington will probably be very similar. Saric will probably be very similar. I see no reason to bump those guys up or down any. So let me get your thoughts on that side or anything about that trade, and then I can kind of ramble on after that.
So I want to note that I agree with you. I don't see much value changing for Robert Covington. I think he's going to start at the small forward position next to Wiggins, and I think his value is going to be pretty similar. So now where I might disagree with you a little bit, Neil, is somebody's going to take a hit between Dario Saric or Taj Gibson. So whoever's going to get the start there is going to be the winner. Now, I've seen some websites that show Saric as the starting power forward, and if that's the case, then Saric will be good. But we know that Tibbs loves to ride his starters for big minutes. So if Taj Gibson's going to come off the bench, Taj will be the big loser. If Saric comes off the bench, I think Saric is going to be a big loser. So really interesting to see, Neil, when this trade is completely finished and these guys are ready to go. Let's see what this starting lineup's going to be, man, because it's going to be very interesting. Neil, you must be jumping out of your skin about Karl Anthony Towns, man, because we know that Cat is a completely different animal when Jimmy Butler's not there. How excited are you, Neil?
I like how you use cat and animal. That was perfect. I am very excited. He had a monster game the other night, 39-19, with some ancillary stats and some blocks. But yeah, I think he's just not happy with Butler. It's been pretty obvious from the news reports. I expect him to get back to his 3rd, 4th overall pick value pretty soon. He's already hopped into the top 10 in ACAT, considering he started off really slow. I expect him to get back in the top 5 within a couple of weeks, or maybe in a month. But I'm so excited. I'm excited to have Teague back and see what he does too once he gets back. And seeing how it plays out with Derrick Rose. Does Josh Okogie get a bigger role now or not? Like you said, though, I think Taj, I don't know. Tibbs loves Taj. I think Saric is a much better fit for this team in terms of playing. But I don't know if it's going to happen. I think it might be Taj. So I think Saric might be the loser. We'll see. I mean, this is because Tibbs loves Taj. If it was a more rational coach, I would say Saric, but I don't know what's going to happen.
So I want to look at the Philadelphia side of this deal. Neil, I think Jimmy Butler, we're going to see very similar production from Jimmy. And people hate when I say this, but I am expecting a slight ding on Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. They are still going to be fantastic fantasy assets this year. But, Neil, the simple truth is Jimmy Butler takes 16 shots a game. So those shots have to come from somewhere. They have to be taken off of somebody's plate. And unfortunately, it means we're going to see a slight ding in shots for Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons. So they're going to be fine. They're going to finish as top fantasy players, but their scoring is going to come down a little bit. And Neil, the other interesting thing I want to take a look at is the power forward spot now is very interesting on this Sixers team. Dario Saric was starting there, but now who's going to start at the power forward spot? Is it Wilson Chandler? Is it Furkan Korkmaz? Is it Mike Muscala? Is it Amir Johnson? I'm really curious to see what's going to happen at this 4 spot on this team. What are your thoughts on the Philly side, Neil?
Yeah, I think that Butler will hurt Embiid's. Embiid's had such a phenomenal year. He's in the top 10 in ACAT, and he could finish in the top 10, but he might lose a few spots. And I agree with you. Simmons is going to lose as well, a little bit of value. I think his point scoring will come down a little bit. Even his assists may come down, as Butler likes to sort of like distribute the ball. So, but I think those guys are not going to lose much more than just maybe they go down a round tops. A handful of spots up to a round, not a massive decrease. I wonder who it's going to be too. Does Redick start the shooting guard now? He started the other night. Shamet started as well. Played 42 minutes in that overtime game. I don't know if I thought Muscala might be the biggest beneficiary. I think he's out right now. So maybe when he gets healthy, unless I'm mistaken about that because he hasn't played in a while. But I think you have to look at maybe Shamet getting some run. And then Redick's already owned. I don't see anyone else who benefits. Well, like you said, I don't know enough to think that it could be anyone else, but maybe it could. Those are the two guys I'm looking at.
It is a situation to watch closely. And, in standard leagues, I think whoever emerges as the starter at the power forward spot, they're so loaded with Ben Simmons at point guard, JJ Redick at shooting guard, now Jimmy Butler at small forward. Whoever is going to start at the power forward spot likely will see low usage. But for you deep leaguers, it is a situation to keep an eye on. So just real interesting stuff, man. And, we know that Jimmy Butler is the definition of an alpha personality. So no worries about Jimmy, you guys. He's going to step in here and he's going to probably fill from a reality standpoint, Neil, I think Jimmy is going to be really nice for this team. They kind of gotten off to a shaky start. I think they haven't been as strong as a lot of people thought they would to start the season. And I think Jimmy might give them that edge, that toughness that they're kind of lacking. So it's going to be very interesting, man.
Yeah, no, I'll just add, like you said, it's probably deeper league stuff as well. They have 3 guys who are going to have seriously high fantasy value in terms of the money counters and or the popcorn stats, I should say. And there may not be enough room for many other people to really get stats because those guys are going to do the bulk of the scoring, the bulk of the assisting, the bulk of the rebounds, assists, steals. So we'll see.
All right. Should we jump into this, man? We've got a 6-game slate. So we got a lot to talk about. Looks like I'm going to hopefully be able to join you for, if not all these games, most of them. So should we jump into this?
Yeah. You want to start us off?
I'll start us off. The first game I got up is the Charlotte Hornets and the Detroit Pistons. The Hornets getting the win in this one, 113-103. I'm going to jump in on the Hornets side, Neil. I'm going to start off with Kemba Walker, who's just continuing to have an MVP-like season. 24 points, 8 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 threes, 9 of 17 from the field, perfect 4 of 4 from the line. Beautiful game from him. Nicholas Batum was somewhat of a letdown here with only 5 points. He did have a nice defensive line of a block and 2 steals, 3 assists, 8 rebounds, 1 3. Only took 6 shots tonight and made 2 of them. Cody Zeller looked pretty solid tonight. I own him in a couple deep leagues, and 14 points, 3 blocks, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. Shot perfect 4 of 4 from the line, which is normally where he kind of hurts you. 5 of 11 from the field, so pretty decent game from him. Marvin Williams showing he's got a pulse with 10 points, 2 steals, 4 rebounds, 3 threes, 3 and 9 from the field. Jeremy Lamb with 10 points, 2 steals, 3 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 threes in 23 minutes. Neil, surprise of the night from the Hornets might be Tony Parker, who in 28 minutes had 24 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 of 2 from downtown, 11 of 18 from the field, led the team in shots tonight with those 18 shots. Pretty interesting. Neil, I believe Michael Kidd-Gilchrist left this game with an injury. It was Miles Bridges who stepped in, played 24 minutes, had 8 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, a block. I'm going to watch this situation closely, Neil. I've got Miles Bridges stashed in some deep leagues just in case he can carve out minutes in that like mid to high 20s. I think if he does, he'll be worth playing. I'm curious if this Kidd-Gilchrist injury could maybe open up some minutes for him. Malik Monk in 18 minutes had 4 points, 2 assists, 5 rebounds. Not much else. Neil, it was, I believe, I thought Hernangomez got the start, but I'm thinking of the Denver game. But Hernangomez in 13 minutes had 9 points, not much else. Neil, what are your thoughts on this Charlotte Hornets team?
Yeah, I was really impressed by them getting the win tonight in Detroit. I thought Detroit was a slight favorite, and to get that win, I think it was pretty good. I like what you said about Kemba Walker. He's having a phenomenal season. He's currently 12th overall in ACAT. Everyone else is a little disappointing. I'm glad you grabbed Zeller. He's like a 124th right now in ACAT, and he has been looking very consistently good, which he has in years past. He makes that team better when he's on the floor. I think Miles Bridges, I have Lamb and Batum in my leagues, and so I have Lamb in almost every league. I think he just got in foul trouble tonight, so this is why his minutes are down a bit. I think he's going to get better. I'm relying on Brewski on this one. He keeps reassuring me he's going to bounce. He's going to come back up again. But I think Bridges is the one to watch. When I watch Charlotte play, he's the most impressive guy off the bench. And he's getting about 20 minutes a game now, and he's still outside the 150. But if anything were to happen to any of these wings, I think Bridges is the one who would benefit the most. And like you said, with now Gilchrist out, maybe he gets more minutes.
Hey, real quick, I just want to add, it sounds like the MKG injury is a sprained right ankle. He came down on a teammate's foot, and he was wearing a walking boot after the game. So I think we can expect maybe he misses at least another game, but it sounds like it's not too serious. He could just be day-to-day. But so, the Miles Bridges thing might just be a short-term ad. In deep leagues.
Yeah, in deep
leagues.
That's all I got. Yeah, or if one of those wings, we've seen Batum has some injury history and Lamb as well. And if they get injured, then those guys are, I think, a pickup, or he's a pickup. All right, on to the Detroit side. Tonight, or earlier today, Blake Griffin, 30 minutes. I think he was ejected, played just 30 minutes, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 4-16 shooting. Missed all his 3-pointers, 1 block. We knew his shooting had to come down a little bit. Drummond is just a double machine, huh? Even like 20-20 machine. 23 points, 22 rebounds, 3 assists. Making a decent amount of free throws, 5 of 7, 3 steals, 2 blocks. What a great player he's been this year. And now there are 2 wings. Reggie Bullock, 34 minutes. Guy I'm watching, 23 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 6 3-pointers, and a steal. And then Glenn Robinson, we had talked about him, only played 22 minutes. Not really helping that much, it looks like. He had a -20 in the plus-minus category. Just 5 points, 2 rebounds, an assist, 2 of 9 shooting, 1 3-pointer, a block. And Reggie Jackson had a great night again as a point guard. This guy is he's got some really good games and some really below-average games. Tonight it was a good performance, 19 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists. 2 3-pointers. Galloway played 25 minutes off the bench. Ish Smith 25 minutes. Stanley Johnson 17 minutes. I don't know if you saw any news on the Blake Griffin thing. I'm trying to look it up now. I think it was just
he got ejected for a flagrant 2 foul. I think I actually saw a highlight of the play. Somebody either went in for a dunk and a layup, and he kind of took his legs out from beneath the guy, which is real dangerous play. So they hit him with a flagrant 2 foul, ejected right away. So it's a bummer, and Blake didn't have a great game tonight, but I'd expect him to be back soon for the next one.
Okay. Any thoughts from you on Detroit? I don't see anything that jumps out at me. I'm not going to run out to get Bullock or Robinson yet. I'm still watching both those guys, but it looks like Bullock would be the better option at this point.
Yes, I actually, Neil, picked up Langston Galloway in some deep 14-team leagues. Well, I did it a few days ago, and now I'm regretting it because with Reggie Bullock coming back, and I mean, besides the 34 minutes tonight with Reggie Bullock, the usage is really nice. He took 13 shots tonight, so I think this is really going to hurt Robinson and Galloway, who we thought maybe could emerge. But with the return of Reggie Bullock, I'm now kind of fading my Galloway ad. In fact, in those deep 14-team leagues, I may make that switch over to Reggie Bullock. I agree with you that he's like that fringe guy that you want from this team. All right, man. That's all I got. Should we move on to the next one?
Yeah, let's go on to game 2.
All right. Next game I got up is the Indiana Pacers and the Houston Rockets. And, Neil, this is an interesting game because a lot of buzz that the Rockets could part ways with Carmelo Anthony, which is somewhat of a surprise. But here we go, man. They get a win against a pretty tough Indiana Pacers team, 115-103 to the Rockets. Is this team better without Carmelo Anthony? The answer might be yes. Neil, I'm going to jump in on the Pacers side. I'm going to talk about my boy, Victor Oladipo, 22 points, 2 steals, 7 assists, 10 rebounds, 3 out of 10 from downtown, 7-24 from the field is not great shooting, but you'll take the 5-6 from the line, and other than the shooting percentage, pretty decent line. Bogdanovich continues to provide some late round value here. 20 points, 3 steals, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 threes, 6 of 11 from the field, a perfect 5 of 5 from the line. That's a beautiful game from Bogdanovich. Darren Collison here with the bounce back, 13 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 threes tonight, 5 of 10 from the field. Pretty decent game from him. Miles Turner continuing the just boring letdown season so far. 9 points. Did have 3 blocks, which is pretty nice, but 1 assist, 3 rebounds. Only took 7 shots and made 3 of them. Continuing to get outplayed by Sabonis, which is just a real bummer. 24 minutes for Miles Turner. It sucks, man. Thaddeus Young with 13 points, a steal, an assist, a rebound, 6 and 9 from the field. Off the bench, Sabonis continuing to have a pretty good season. It's somewhat of an okay game here with 11 points, 2 assists, 6 rebounds, a perfect 4 of 4 from the line. 4 of 4 from the field, 3 of 6 from the line. Neil, Tyreek Evans is just not. It's just not happening for this guy. Only 6 points in 19 minutes. I feel safe moving on in any standard league. I would make the drop if you still own him. Not too much to talk about else here, Neil. What are your thoughts on the Pacers?
Yeah, I guess Miles Turner is, again, the one I want to bring up because he's such a disappointment this year. He salvaged his night with 3 blocks and the nice free throw shooting, 3 of 3. But other than that, just he's outside the top 100 now in ACAT, while Sabonis is right around 60. So who would have thought that going into the year? I think Oladipo, he's had struggle shooting this year. He shot so well last year, 7-24 tonight. and it's a little frustrating to see if you own him because he's going to be such a high volume shooter. He might hurt your field goal percent. But I agree with you on Tyreke Evans, not rosterable in 12-team leagues. What about Bogdanovic? Do you have any leagues? I'm kind of, he's like 115. And I feel like there are some games he just disappears, but maybe I should pick him up as a 3-and-D guy. Any thoughts on him?
I have him ranked 118 in 9 category leagues. You said it, man. There's some games where if his shot's not falling, he just completely disappears. But I think in 14-team leagues, he's definitely worth owning for his points and his threes. Nights like tonight are reasons why he can be useful because, it's kind of odd. The 3 steals, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, just really filled it up and helped you in multiple areas tonight. So I do think he's worth owning. I think in standard leagues and especially shallower 10-team leagues, I wouldn't touch him there.
Yeah, it's interesting. After tonight, he's probably going to be ranked higher than Turner and ACAT, which is crazy.
Jeez, man. It's nuts.
All right, on the Houston side, I think you're right. Let's talk about Carmelo really quick. I don't think he helps teams. I don't know where he's going to go. I think looks like his tenure might be done in Houston. And if that's the case, maybe he'll get bought out and then waived or something like that. I'm sure
I know where he's going to go. It's a
LA,
place called China or Europe.
Oh, you think so? You think he's going to go to Los Angeles, or you think he's going to go somewhere?
I don't think so, man. I
don't think anyone wants him, huh? Wow.
Oh, man. Neil, let's think about this. His main primary thing he has going for him is scoring, and coming to a team with the Houston Rockets, which is a high scoring offense that really just needed him to score, and he couldn't really do that well. I can't picture him going into any other team or system. This was the only one team that I thought he could fit in because they really just needed him to score, and he couldn't do it. So I think he's done, man.
Yeah, shooting 40% on the year, and outside the top 150. Yeah, I don't think he's worth even speculating on, no matter where he goes. Even if your league includes Chinese players, I don't think so. Wouldn't that be great if we had a fantasy league for like European basketball?
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Anyway, a big night though for the Rockets. They get a good win here over Indiana, who's looked really good this year. Chris Paul, 26 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 3-pointers, 3 steals. James Harden, 40 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, 14 out of 15 from the line, 8 3-pointers, 1 steal, 1 block. This gentleman is living up to his number 2 ranking in fantasy, currently in ACAT. Good to see. And then their role players, PJ Tucker, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 4 3-pointers. James Ennis played 22 minutes, just a single rebound, 2 assists, no points, no steal, no blocks, 1 steal. Clint Capella played 29 minutes, 18 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist. Great percentages from the field, at least 8 of 9, 2 of 5 though from the line, and a block. Let's see. Do you think this helps anyone off the bench? So Gary Clark played 33 minutes, 6 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, steal and a block. Eric Gordon, 31 minutes, 9 points, 4 rebounds, had a quiet night. He's had a struggling year shooting 32% from the field this year. 2 of 9 from 3-point land and a block. I thought Gordon's been dropped in some leagues I've seen. I don't know if you've seen him on the waiver wire. I thought he might be a speculative add once he came back from his injury, but his percentages are just killing you. 32% on 17 shots. That is going to just wipe out your field goal percent, and he's not really doing a whole lot of else. His defensive stats aren't great, 0.4 steals, 0.7 blocks, just 1.5 assists. So I'm still not reaching him. I have Jay Crowder as my 3-and-D guy. That's my last place guy, and I'm rolling with him for a while. Any thoughts on this Houston team?
I really don't think there's anyone off the bench that's gonna see any that's gonna benefit from the loss of Carmelo Anthony. I just don't think so. And One other thing I want to note is that Clint Capella left this game with a bruised left knee. I believe he knocked his knee with someone. And I think it's possible we see Capella maybe miss a game or so. Doesn't look like anything serious. So I don't think he's going to miss any extended time. But I do expect him to miss the next game, which is in Denver on Tuesday. And then, yeah, man, I don't know, man. I don't know what to think about Carmelo leaving. And I think it's just going to mean more for Chris Paul and for James Harden. And Clint Capella was playing really well before he left this game. All right, man. Should we move on to the next one?
Let's do it.
Next game I got up is the Orlando Magic and the New York Knicks. And the Magic getting the win here, 115-89. And no Aaron Gordon tonight, no Jonathan Isaac. And it didn't matter, Neil, because this one looked like a blowout as well. So, when you're missing two key guys in Isaac and Gordon, and it's a blowout, we got to be really careful, kind of take everything with a grain of salt, not read too much into this game. But I'm going to start with Vucevic, who's having a pretty good season. A big double-double here, 21 points, 14 rebounds, a steal, a block, 10 of 17's pretty good shooting. He even added a 3, which you love getting from your center. Neil, I feel like Vucevic was somewhat of a value this season with all the hype on Jonathan Isaac and with Aaron Gordon and them drafting their rookie Mo Bamba. I feel like Vucevic was a deal on a lot of teams' draft days, so you got to be pretty happy with him. Let's see, DJ Augustine, who we've seen have some pretty nice games the past week. Somewhat of a letdown here, 9 points, 3 steals, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. 3 threes tonight is nice. He only played 24 minutes, which is maybe due to the blowout factor. Evan Fournier, also only 19 minutes, 12 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 threes, 5 of 13 from the field. Again, maybe low minutes here due to the blowout factor. And Neil, I think if I did need to take something away from the loss of Gordon and Isaac, and it may be that we need to pick up Terrence Ross. He got 22 points tonight, 3 assists, a rebounds. Really, the reason why you want him is for the points and threes. And he shot 5 of 8 from downtown tonight, 8 of 12 from the field. So it was really dropping for him tonight. I think he's the guy that you want to own if Aaron Gordon and Isaac are going to miss some time. He's got a really nice usage rate, and he feels the need. This team needs some scoring, and he feels that need. Let's see here. Not too much else to talk about. Mo Bamba, their rookie, with 15 points, 2 blocks, 8 rebounds. Only got 18 minutes. It's not happening for him. Might not even happen all year for this guy, Mo Bamba. But I do love his dynasty outlook. What are your thoughts on this Orlando Magic team, Neil?
Yeah, it was. Well, this game was a blowout. It was 30-10 after the first quarter. And they just kind of consistently held a good lead all throughout. So, and with 2 guys out, it's hard to really read into it. I will say, I think if Vucevic does get traded, I don't know if he is, but Bamba then may become relevant. But like you said, right now he's just not getting enough minutes to do that. I agree with you. Terrence Ross is another 3-and-D guy. 5 3-pointers tonight, 2 blocks. But that's basically all he does are the 3-pointers and the points. He's only averaging, let's see here, 1.1 steals and 0.6 blocks. So not bad, but not great. And then, like you said, Augustine, I just don't trust him. And then Awindu doesn't do enough. It's just, this is one of those games where they had Gordon out, so it's so hard to know what it's going to be like once he comes back in. If any of these guys, these numbers can hold up. So this doesn't really tell us much, except that maybe Terrence Ross, like you said, is a good pickup if he's out again. I think he's going to continue to get good minutes and take a lot of shots.
Hey, real quick, just want to note that Aaron Gordon was a game time decision coming into this one with a left ankle sprain. So I don't expect Aaron Gordon to miss too much time. At most, maybe one more game. So I still kind of like Terrence Ross as a deep league pickup because they are missing Jonathan Isaac. And we've seen Terrence Ross, even before Aaron Gordon got hurt, have some pretty decent games. But I'd expect Aaron Gordon to be ready for this next one.
All right, on to New York side. Let's see. This is kind of a tough lineup. Okay, Tim Hardaway Jr., 26 minutes. He had a rough night, 2 of 12 shooting, 7 points, 6 rebounds, and assist. Missed all his three-pointers, got 1 steal. Mitchell Robinson, though, I think he got the highlight of the night. He had 9 blocks. 4 points, 4 rebounds. Only took 3 shots, made 2 of them, but 9 blocks. Noah Vonleh, a very quiet game, 4 points, 9 rebounds. A lot of these guys didn't play many minutes because of the blowout in the beginning, including Ntilikina, who did not get injured, I believe, but just was not playing well. And so after 6 minutes, he was pulled and never got back in the game. Had just a rebound. And he's on one of my teams, so that didn't work out very well. Damian Dotson still starting on the wing, 21 minutes, 5 points, 1 rebound. This is the guy I have on my watch list. He's starting now. Kevin Knox, though, played 26 minutes off the bench and may take over that spot. He's someone who I think may be worth a speculative add at this point if he's been dropped in your league. 17 points, 3 rebounds, 4 of 11 shooting. He got to the line 10 times, made 7 of them, 2 3-pointers. And then Enes Kanter is just having a great night off the bench as usual. 16 points, 15 rebounds, 1 assist. Hazonia had a quality night as well off the bench, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. Again, this happened with a lot of garbage time, so I would not look to pick up Hazonia, but Knox, if he's out there, might be worth an add. Do you have him, Adrian? Are you going to add him? If you don't, should I drop Jay Crowder for him? I don't know what to do.
I would hang on to Jay Crowder. You're talking about Knox, though,
yeah,
right?
I'm talking about Kevin Knox.
Yeah, you know what? I'm really glad that you mentioned that. I think Kevin Knox is a guy you pick up now, and he's only going. Look, he's not great right now, and the shot is going to be an issue. But I feel like, Neil, there's going to be some point of the season where like the light kind of turns on for him, and I feel like his role is safe on this tanking team who's going to develop the kids. So I feel like he's going to get every opportunity, and I feel like you got to strike onto Kevin Knox right now. If you can afford to pick him up and kind of stash him, I think that's definitely worth it. And Neil, real quick, I want to touch on Ntilikina, who I want to turn back the clock to the 2017 NBA draft. The New York Knicks selected Ntilikina over Dennis Smith Jr., over Donovan Mitchell, over guys like Malik Monk, John Collins, Jared Allen, Josh Hart. I mean, it's crazy, man. I'm not a big believer in Ntilikina, and I'm pretty disappointed that it's not happening for him.
Yeah, it's frustrating to watch, and the reason why I'm hesitant on Knox is only because this team is just not playing well, and when teams are just this bad, they just mess around their lineups a lot, and there's no consistency to lineups, to how many minutes guys get. So I just worry that it's just going to be he's not going to have the guaranteed minutes like someone like Hardaway Jr. does. So that's what I'm staying away for now. But you're right. If you want him, you're probably better off getting him now than waiting until he hops on. Unless you can afford a big free agent bid, or you can't afford a space right now, which unfortunately one of my leagues I can't. So
last thought on the Knicks for me, Neil, I'm hanging on to Mitchell Robinson. It is not easy, but look, it's showing the upside with the blocks. He tempts us a little bit. A few games ago, he had a double-digit scoring game with some nice rebounds. I'm just hanging on to him, Neil. That kind of upside is not easy to get in deep leagues. And I'm going to stick with him. Similar to Knox, I feel like there could be some point in the season where it just clicks for him. And again, he's on this really bad Knicks team that I think they're just going to continue to develop the youngsters here and continue to tank. All those great incoming rookies that we've talked about, Neil, Zion Williamson. So I think I'm hanging on to Mitchell Robinson. I'm not dropping him yet.
No, I like that. I think he's going to be just fine. I mean, in terms of minutes, I think he is going to get, I think, plenty of run, and the blocks alone are worth it. So I think that's crazy.
I didn't know he had 9 blocks tonight, and I actually just was looking at his points and was like, "Oh, what a bad line!" And then when you said 9 blocks, I was like, "Oh, geez!" Like, just shocked me, man. All right. Let's move on to the next one, Neil. We got to talk about this one. I actually watched a lot of this game, and it went down to the wire. A fun one. The Milwaukee Bucks and the Denver Nuggets. The Bucks getting the win here. This was a lot closer than the scores showing. 121 to 114. Gonna jump into the Milwaukee side, and Brook Lopez, man, proving why it's okay to trade Kyrie Irving for Brook Lopez, Neil. 28 points, 2 blocks, a steal, an assist, 4 rebounds, 8 of 13 from downtown? Are you kidding me?
He had some like Steph Curry type range. I don't know if you saw some of those shots. They were ridiculous. They were like 35 feet out. It was crazy.
Wow. I'm just amazed that a center can shoot 8 of 13 from downtown. All right. 10 of 17 from the field. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 22 points, a block, 2 steals, 8 assists, 9 rebounds, 11 of 16 from the field. Put up a goose egg at the line, though. 0 of 5 from the line, but whatever. We'll take it from Giannis. Chris Middleton, man, continuing his stellar season. 21 points, 2 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 threes, 8 of 12 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line. We'll take that. Brogdon, beautiful game from him. 20 points, 2 steals, 5 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 of 3 from downtown, 7 of 13 from the field. A really nice game here from Brogdon. Bledsoe with 12 points, 3 steals, a block, 3 assists, 8 rebounds, a 3, 4 of 10 from the field. Not much happening from the bench here, Neil. What are your thoughts on the Milwaukee Bucks, man?
Man, this is a really good team. You know, they went into Boston, they almost won. They went into Golden State and trashed them. Granted, Golden State didn't have Draymond, and now they go into Denver, one of the other really good teams out of the West, and it was a really great game. But I always felt like Milwaukee was just a little bit better the entire game. I always thought they were going to kind of hang on and win, and they did it. From fantasy perspective, yeah, Lopez, not getting rebounds, but he gets blocks and a lot of threes. My God, 8 of them. And then Brogdon, good to see him having a good night. You know, someone the other day on Twitter asked me between Brogdon and Harrison Barnes, and I recommended Brogdon, so I'm glad that's working out. Yeah, I don't know about any of these guys. Connaughton, Ilyasova, DiVincenzo, who I thought might be someone up and coming for a deeper league, but he didn't have a really good game tonight. I just really like watching this team. They're very well balanced. You know, their shot attempts. Every starter got over 10 shot attempts. Just a great team. It's a really good team to watch. Nothing from the fantasy side. So, do you have anything to add, or should I go to Denver?
Let's look at the Nuggets.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Hernangomez got the start over Torrey Craig, played 30 minutes, which is actually a really great number to see, but did not do much in stat-wise, just 8 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. I think if you want to speculative add him, I don't think it's a bad idea, because if he gets 30 minutes a game, his stats will go up. Jokic had 20 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, on 4 3-pointers, a steal and a block. Jamal Murray, 14, 5, and 2. No 3-pointers, 2 steals. Gary Harris, 15 points, 4 rebounds, no assists. 3 of 5 from the line, 2 3-pointers, 3 steals. Paul Millsap had a resurgent type game, 25 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. 5 3-pointers himself and 2 blocks. So a fantastic night from Milsap, who's had some of these pretty strong nights recently. Off the bench, Monte Morris played 28 minutes, had 10 assists, 5 points, and 3 rebounds. Malik Beasley, 10 points, 4 rebounds. Trey Lyles, 16 points, 5 rebounds. So another team that has a lot of really good fantasy starters, not much off the bench. Really 4 guys here that are worthy in 12-team leagues. It's nice to see Milsap come up. I don't think you can trust, Milsap currently, let me look up where he is currently. In ACAT, he is 110. So if someone's interested in buying him, maybe you sell high on him, but I don't think you can fool anyone at this point. It's been 10 games in. They probably know how good he is. Gary Harris, though, 97th in ACAT. A little disappointing this year. And then Jokic is now back in the top 10. After shooting, I don't know if you saw this, Adrian, after shooting like 1 shot the other night, he shot like their first 30 shots the other night and scored like 39 points or something crazy. So
it's so nuts, man.
I know. I don't know what Denver's doing. That just tells me something's up. It's just weird coaching for that to happen. Or Jokic is weird. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I do like this team, but they don't have the defensiveness to really stop a great team like Milwaukee. Unfortunately, they couldn't slow them down at all. So what are your thoughts on Denver?
First off, I love your take on Hernangomez. We've been waiting to see them commit to a replacement for Will Barton. We thought it could be Trey Lyles. They were going with Morris. I love that they gave Hernangomez the start and he saw 30 minutes. But as you mentioned, man, it just only 5 shots in 30 minutes. Neil, I'm starting to realize that the Nuggets are kind of similar to the Celtics, where a lot of mouths to feed on this team. They just have so many studs that in standard leagues, I just don't think we can even worry or pay any attention to what's happening at the power forward spot, because whoever is going to start and get the bulk of the minutes is just not going to be able to compete with Murray, Milsap, Harris, Jokic. And then second thing, I love your take on Milsap, man. If this was a great Milsap game, if it's at all possible for you to sell him high right now, I would jump on that, man. If there's a guy in your league that is a big Milsap fan or is higher than Milsap than you are, I would try to sell him off right now. All right, Neil, that's all I got. Should we move into the next one?
Yeah, let's go into, I guess it's Portland,
Celtics?
Boston. Yeah.
Celtics?
Let's do it.
Celtics losing to Portland here, 194. I'm going to jump in on the Celtics side, Neil. Jason Tatum, it was his turn to have a big game. 27 points, 2 blocks, 8 rebounds. 5 of 9 from 3-point land, 9 of 18 from the field, a perfect 4 of 4 from the line. Beautiful game from him. Horford, didn't have a good shooting game, only shot 4 of 14 with 10 points, but the defensive stats are nice, man. The 2 steals, the 2 blocks, also had 3 assists, 8 rebounds. And to be honest with you, Neil, I'm just happy that he took 14 shots in this game. It's showing that he's trying to be a big part of this offense here in 34 minutes. That's pretty nice. Kyrie, the shot wasn't falling for him, was only 9 of 24, but still had a pretty decent line with 21 points, 5 steals. Jeez Louise, he was a thief tonight. 6 assists, 2 rebounds, 3 of 10 from downtown. You'll take this line from Kyrie, who's been turning it around after a slow start. Gordon Hayward continuing his kind of disappointing low-end season here. 7 points, 5 assists, 9 rebounds is pretty good, a 3, but the usage is real low, man. Only 3 of 7 from the field. Jaylen Brown, it was his turn to take a back seat. 7 points, a steal, a rebound, 1 3, 2 of 7 from the field. Marcus Morris helping out on the bench with 13 points, 6 rebounds. Nothing else from these guys on the bench. Rozier back to the bench with 19 minutes, 7 points, and nothing else from these guys, man. What are your thoughts on the Celtics, Neil?
Man, they had a tough night. I know they got down big early and they fought back, but just fell short. Like you said, I'm happy Horford got 14 shots. Unfortunately, he didn't shoot very well. No one really on this team shot well tonight. Irving 9 of 24. Hayward only took 7 shots and just made 3 of them. Good to see Jaylen Brown back. Yeah, like you said, this is a lot of mouths to feed here. If I were to tell you that Marcus Morris is the number 3 fantasy player on this team, that would surprise me. Not a lot of great fantasy value here. There's only one guy inside top 50. That's Kyrie Irving, currently at 17. Everyone else not really returning draft value yet. So yeah, this is a team I'm staying away from. They've got so much depth. And then when guys are just not having a good night, they can bring in Marcus Morris. They can bring in Marcus Smart. They can bring in Terry Rozier. Aaron Baines and Daniel Tice can even get some minutes. So it's hard to really trust anyone to really live up to what their draft value is, or was, I should say. Anything else on Boston before I go to Portland?
Nope.
All right. Great win for Portland. Nurkic, had the best night. 18 points, 17 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 for 2 from the line. Lillard, 19 points, 5 rebounds, 12 assists, 3 of 3 from the line. McCollum, he has been struggling this year. He's had a couple good games recently that kind of vaulted him back up into close to his value, but tonight again just had 14 points, 2 rebounds, an assist, a 3-pointer, and a block. Layman getting the start, playing 14 minutes, 8 points, 2 rebounds, an assist, not worth owning. Aminu, 30 minutes, but just not doing enough. Tonight, 11 points, 9 rebounds, 3 3-pointers, 2 steals. So that's not bad, but still, so far, we have not seen him do as well as I expected once he got back. So, still sitting like around 120th, 127 in my rankings. And then off the bench, Evan Turner, 27 minutes, 4 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. And Zach Collins, 6 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist. I have not jumped on the Zach Collins train just yet, and I think he may be owned in most leagues, but he may get dropped again. I would not pick him up just yet. Gosh, it's so hard to say anything here. I still, McCollum's at 75th in the rankings. I have to believe he's going to bounce back. Unless he's having a nagging injury I'm just not aware of that he hasn't talked about. If you can get him, then I think I would trade for him. If his owner is really frustrated and willing to sell like a 6th round pick on him. So it's my thoughts.
Neil, I was about to say buy low on McCollum, and you just basically solidified my thoughts, or just kind of made me feel good about thinking that. Neil, yes, we drafted McCollum as a 3rd rounder, but this perception that he's having a really bad season, Neil, the 59th player in 9-cat leagues, currently providing 5th round value. So, if you can kind of pounce on that owner who's really disappointed that they used a 3rd round pick and he's not returning value, I think you do that, man. If you got a player, you got a guy on your team who's like kind of outperforming where he's at right now, I would do that, man. I would try to make that move. So yeah, try to buy low on CJ McCollum right now. I think he can, to know that with how bad he's playing, he's still putting up 5th round value right now. We know his ceiling is much higher than that. Try to get him. All right, man. That's all I got. Should we move on? Actually, we got one more game. I don't know if it's over yet. What are you seeing on your end? Yeah, this game's over, right?
This game is...
Or almost.
All right. Yeah, it just ended with Lakers 107, Atlanta 106. You want to take us into one of these teams?
Yes, sir. I'm going to jump into the Atlanta Hawks because I'm a Laker homer, Neil, and I don't want my Laker homerism to give any false takes. So I want you to take the Lakers, Neil. I'm going to jump into the Atlanta Hawks. I'm going to talk about Taurean Prince here. 23 points, 2 steals, 1 assist, 7 rebounds. A beautiful shooting night. 9 of 13 from the field, 5 of 8 from downtown. Nice game from him. Trae Young doing what he does, which is score. A little inefficient with the 8-18. We know that's an issue. 4 turnovers tonight, but 4-8 from three-point range, 12 assists, a steal, a block. A pretty good game from Trae Young tonight. Bazemore having a beautiful game as well. 21 points, 5 steals, 3 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 of 5 from downtown, 7 of 12 from the field, 4 of 4 from the line, having a good game. Neil, I saw Spellman get picked up in a few of my leagues. I'm kind of happy that he got a bad line tonight because one of the guys in my home league that's in first place grabbed him, and I was like, oh man, I don't want him to have a big game. 2 points, an assist, a block, 8 rebounds. John Collins is coming back, which is going to kill Spellman. I really expect Collins to make his NBA debut or his season debut this week. I think it's going to happen. Alex Len, his 1 out of 5 games that he has a good game, I guess this was his one. 17 points, a steal, an assist, 11 rebounds, 8 of 16, 1 of 4 he made a 3 tonight. It's pretty good. Nothing really off the bench here. What are your thoughts on the Atlanta Hawks, Neil?
Yeah, I think, the emergence of John Collins is going to change everything, I think, for this team. In terms of scoring, I mean, Bazemore has been pretty good this year. He's inside top 174. I've got a cat coming in tonight, and I just think he might lose some of this steam once Collins gets back. He's still going to get the minutes, but I don't know if he'll get the points or the other categories as well. I mean, it's hard to sell high on him because not many people have much expectations for him, but I think he might take a dip. Taurean Prince, we'll see how he reacts also to the Collins coming back. So those 2 guys I would keep an eye on. I would not be expecting them to get any better, but maybe they'll hold their own value. Any thoughts on you? Any other thoughts on the Hawks?
I am excited to get John Collins back, Neil. I own him in a few leagues. I think he's going to be the lead dog alpha on this team. He's going to be their go-to guy, and I am excited to get him back. I believe it's going to happen this week. My teams where I have him, I desperately need him. So, yeah, man, I'm excited to see John Collins.
Yeah, me too. He's such a great young player. Okay, let's hop over to the Lakers side, the last side of the night. LeBron James played 34 minutes, 26 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, just 3 of 7 from the line. Did get 3 3-pointers and 2 steals. Kyle Kuzma starting alongside of him, played 32 minutes, 18 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 3-pointer and 2 steals. JaVale McGee played 27 minutes, 8 points, 9 rebounds, a single assist, 2 for 4 from the line, a steal and 3 blocks. Lonzo Ball got a lot more minutes tonight than he has been. 27, 8.6 rebounds, 11 assists. Good night from him. 1 steal and a block. Brandon Ingram, kind of a quiet night. 10 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, just 3 of 8 shooting, and 1 block. Josh Hart, 9 points off the bench. Someone who's kind of fallen out of favor. Currently 79 and 8 cap, but has been falling fast. Tyson Chandler, 21 minutes, 4 points, 5 rebounds, a game-winning block, as you mentioned, or 3 blocks, 1 game-winning and 1 steal. Actually, I don't think he mentioned it. And then I think we're off the air. And then Rondo played 16 minutes off the bench. Caldwell Pope played 16 minutes. Lance Stevenson, 15 minutes. Let's see. My takeaway from this is, JaVale McGee, who we knew the minutes were coming down, he was 3 for 9 shooting tonight. If he goes 5 of 9 and hits his normal mark, he scores, he's like 13 points, 12 points, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks. So still a solid game. It's interesting to see that they're closing the games with Tyson Chandler. At least they have been a couple games now, even though he's only getting 21 minutes. I don't know if that just means, I know they've had some struggles in the fourth quarter, and I don't know if that just means JaVale is not playing his assignments right, but I think he is still the better talent. Tyson is just probably the more, I guess, higher IQ player. Not much else to take away from this except I think Josh Hart. He's probably been dropped. There's no reason to go back up on him. I don't see him having a resurgence in such a limited capacity. Any thoughts from you on the Lakers?
Neil, you know how when people are big fans of a team, that homerism comes in, and so you see weird stuff happen. I actually do the opposite, Neil, where I purposely avoid Lakers because I know I'm a big fan and it skews my outlook on a lot of their players. So I actually try to not draft Lakers because I know I'm not like looking at it with a rational set of eyes. And I'm pretty happy that I avoided all Lakers, man, because, with Ball, it's not really happening. I'm kind of surprised when they signed Tyson Chandler. I was really just expecting him to get like a 15, 16-minute backup role. And he's getting much more of a role than that. And I think it is hurting McGee. In fact, the other night, I believe that Chandler played more minutes than McGee. I think McGee is still the center you want to own, but I'm just shocked that Tyson Chandler is hurting him a tad. And if you were a McGee owner, you don't want anything holding him back. So a little disappointing there. And not much else to talk about on the Lakers front, man. That's all I got.
Yeah, I would hold tight with McGee. I do have him in one league, and I just think he is not meant to play more than in the mid-20s to high 20s, and he's getting 27 minutes. And it's not – he is going to come down a little bit, but that beginning was unsustainable, how well he played in the beginning. So I think this is more going to be his normal, like 12 to 14 points, like 8 to 10 rebounds, a couple blocks. You got to be really excited if you're a McGee owner that he saw 27 minutes. And this game went down to the wire, literally came down to the last shot. And so you got to be really happy that McGee saw 27 minutes. I think he's still going to be a solid player in a mid to high 20-minute role. So, you got to be pretty stoked there. And, as you mentioned with Josh Hart, only 23 minutes tonight. And it's just these fringe guys on the Lakers, it's just not happening with some of these fringe guys, man. Rondo only seeing 16 minutes. Caldwell Pope only seeing 16 minutes. Lance Stevenson's not worth owning. Yeah, and even Ingram, as much as he can produce in all the different categories, he's at 123 going into tonight on averages basis. So he really doesn't do well with the percentages, and he's kind of mediocre across the board. So he's someone who I thought about targeting this year because he had such a huge jump from year one to year two. I thought this guy obviously works really hard in the offseason. So I thought maybe he would take another jump from year two to year three. Just hasn't worked out. In terms of fantasy, I think he's playing better in reality, but hasn't translated yet to fantasy. I think he's going to have a long career in the NBA, though. Just not a fantasy stud.
Yep, I agree, man. So that about wraps up the evening, Neil. 6-game slate. We nailed it down. Beginning of week 5. Here we go. Neil, any closing thoughts on the show?
No, good to be back on with you. We're going to have some longer nights ahead of us, so maybe we should wrap this up now. We'll see. I guess the biggest curiosity and the biggest storyline is still Jimmy Butler. How does that all play out for fantasy value? I don't think it's worth grabbing anyone just yet because we don't know what's going to happen with those rotations. But like you said, if Saric is getting the start in Minnesota, then maybe you could probably grab him. Although, I think Tibbs might mess around with those guys in the beginning just to see how it fits out. So it might not hold, but he's maybe the one potential guy that could break out.
Hey, I got one last thought on the evening, and we'll get into it deeper on the next show, Neil. And that's that there's some pretty nice guards that are emerging. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander had a really nice game. Colin Sexton had a nice game. Derek White had a really nice game. You guys, none of those guys played today, but real quick, go to your wire and make sure that none of those guys are sitting there. And if they are, go pick them up. And Neil, these guys are playing in the next day or so. So you and I are going to get deeper into those guys. Some pretty good ads for your backcourt if you're having trouble there.
Yeah, and definitely if you need a backcourt, you need to get them before they play. Because one more good game, they'll be gone if they're not already gone already. So good to mention that. All right.
All right, you guys. I'm going to send us out of here. Let's put a bow on this show. Hit us up at Twitter. Please follow us on Twitter. I'm at Adrian Benjamins. He's at Ball with Neil. Thank you guys for listening and supporting the show. We will see you guys tomorrow.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.